Is it really possible to reduce conflicts in your life? Is there a way that you could minimize them altogether? I believe the answer to that question is yes. Hi, I'm Pastor Jeff Kaplan with Strength for Today with Dr. J. I've been involved in pastoral ministry going back to 1985. And I'd like to share with you a practical suggestion for how you can see conflicts greatly reduced in your life. It comes down to this: don't start fights. Don't even start them. Don't allow them even to begin. Here's a riddle for you. What do fights and noses have in common? You maybe haven't put those two things together, so let me bring that out to you. What do fights and noses have in common? Well, it's very unpleasant to see either one of them picked. And picking either one can actually lead to some pretty serious bleeding. And so don't start fights. Stay clear from them. Keep in mind that fights are often initiated by people who are spiritually fleshy. They're acting foolishly. Maybe they are full of pride or selfish. They're the ones who initiate and instigate the trouble so that the fights get off the ground. See to it that you avoid conflict altogether. Don't give an opportunity for a fight to even get off the ground. This can be graphically illustrated by a Bible verse in Proverbs, where it says in Proverbs 17, verse 14, the beginning of strife is like letting out water. So abandon the quarrel before it breaks out. Let me demonstrate. I have in this pitcher, obviously, some water. And if I were to pour it into this cup that has a crack in it, you'll notice that there is a major leak taking place. And that's what happens when there's a fight. There has been some type of crack in the communication that has brought great damage. Listen to a paraphrase of that Bible verse in Proverbs 17, verse 14. It says, starting a quarrel is like a leak in a dam, so stop it before a fight breaks out. Now, here the author pictures the beginning of a quarrel, of some type of conflict, being like a crack, some type of fracture. And what is taking place is this fracture is in a big protective barrier that is holding back water. And so when a dam has some kind of rupture in it, what is taking place at that point is it's no longer able to restrain the water from causing the damage that occurs through a flood. And so measures must be taken so that the leaks don't even exist to begin with. And so this is what we need to understand, that we have got to, simply stated, not allow fighting words to leave our mouths, because they can bring about great damage to other people. Simply stated, it is very difficult once a conflict has begun to stop it. And so my point here is, don't even allow the conflict to initiate. Don't even allow it to begin in the first place. Now, one reason why this is so key can be found in Proverbs chapter 20, verse 3, where it says, keeping away from strife is an honor for a man. And of course, that also applies to women and children. Why? But any fool will quarrel. You see, staying out of fights and quarrels will bring you honor. It's the kind of thing that is honorable to you before other people and in your own life, when you are not even initiating the fight. The question is, how do you go about that? How can you see to it that you don't even start the fight? Well, let me suggest that you don't initiate these arguments by posing certain questions to yourself. These are questions maybe you haven't thought of. but here they are. Would this quarrel that I'm thinking about starting, would this glorify God? Would this honor God? 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31 says, whether then you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. So think about that. Another question you can ask yourself is, would Jesus communicate in the way that I'm thinking about communicating to this other person? Many of us have heard of WWJD, what would Jesus do? But I would challenge you with WWJS, what would Jesus say? In John chapter 13, we are told in verse 34, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you, that you also love one another. So would Jesus communicate in this manner? And then you can also ask yourself, would I want this other person to speak to me in the way that I'm thinking about speaking to him or her? See, this comes down to the golden rule, Matthew 7, verse 12. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And then you can also pose this question to yourself. If I speak this way to this individual, would this be a form of loving communication? You see, there's a whole chapter in the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, that tells us that our lives are to be expressed with love. And then you can also finally ask yourself this question. If I start this quarrel, if I initiate it, would this build up the other person? Would this edify him or her? 1 Corinthians 8, verse 1 says, knowledge makes arrogant, but love edifies. Instead of tearing down people, we need to be involved in building them up. How can you reduce, how can you minimize any kind of conflict, quarrel in your life? Simply don't start fights. That will make a huge difference. And you will be able to see conflicts minimized, greatly reduced in your life. I would love to hear from you. Share your comments in the comment section below, or feel free to write to me at strengthfortoday@gmail.com. In the meantime, may God grant you and yours His strength for today.